Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone. This video is just another reading one, but it's a celebrity one. It's I wanted to do a reading on Tamar Braxton. I felt guided to do this reading because of the fact that she uh is going through quite a difficult time in her life, and I was watching the Braxton Family Values show. I do watch that like pretty much religiously, like the previous seasons. I've always sort of caught up with what's going on, and then now they have the new season, which we're like 2 episodes in. And I felt really drawn to the subject matter in the show because of the fact that she was talking about her experience of having IVF. Now, I've never had IVF, but I am pregnant, and she's really trying to get pregnant, and she had a miscarriage, and I can definitely sympathize with that experience and all that stuff. And I feel like for her personally, I felt kind of saddened because I didn't feel that her family really supported her in the way they should have. And I think they let previous issues, previous problems they've had with her in the past kind of affect how they treated her when she came out and she told them about having this miscarriage. And it just felt really sad to me because you could tell like it there was this tension. It's like she said it, and then there was this kind of weird vibe that they let off. Where, and they've done this a couple times. I've noticed throughout the show, where Tamar will be really emotional and will cry and stuff, and they'll almost treat it like it's not sincere or she's not being genuine. And I think sometimes in the past, maybe she wasn't always sincere or genuine. I mean, I can't say that I know that for sure, because obviously that's, she's a different person. Those are her feelings. But I kind of felt like in this situation, obviously you could tell her feelings were definitely genuine. And I just kind of felt like they should have at least even one person. I mean, you have like three sisters around the table and not one person even like put their arms around her or anything. And I was just like, no, I just personally feel like even if you have issues with your family, like at the end of the day, if a family member needs you to be there for them, especially emotionally, I just feel like to a certain extent you have to be able to set your feelings to the side and just be like, you know what, let's not even think about like the previous drama, and let's just, be there for her in that moment of need. Because also the child that was lost was a member of their family, like that would have been their niece. So I just couldn't understand why on an emotional level they couldn't be there for her in that way. And that was kind of sad, and I think a lot of that came from the previous argument that she had recently with Trina in this new episode. And I think that was so stupid. It was just a little like minor thing where Trina got really angry with her because of the way that she spoke about some of the food that Trina offers at her restaurant. And Trina actually invited them there for food tasting so that they could tell her what they thought of the food. And then when Tamar did, she got angry at what she had to say, which is like ridiculous because it's like, what sense does it make to ask somebody their opinion and then get mad when they actually give you their opinion? And then turn around and say, oh, well, okay, fair enough. Tamar does have a way of saying things that's a bit quite harsh and blunt. And I can understand that for some people, like, they're not going to like that or appreciate that. But then I feel like then you don't invite that person to come and have a food tasting when you know that that's how they are. And more than likely you're going to get upset with their delivery. So to me, it was just kind of silly on Trina's part, and I think it definitely was an argument that got completely out of hand because it was just so minor and petty um in the first place. And then there also what was mentioned in the show by Trina, which was a little bit of a low blow, but I understood why Trina went there because Tamar had mentioned something about Trina's ex-partner, and then Trina comes out and says, well, you should look after your child. And then she kind of goes on to explain that she feels that their mom, does a bit too much for Logan, who is Tamar's child, and that almost like she feels like Tamar should maybe be a bit more involved or maybe a bit more hands-on. Maybe that's what she was trying to say. And Tamar really got upset about that. So, yeah, the show was interesting, but I just wanted to pull some cards and kind of see where Tamar is at because of all the stuff she's been going through and experiencing. And her first card, I'm using the Ultra Zen Tarot, is Schizophrenia. And to me, this card may not always represent schizophrenia, the illness. It could in some instances, but I also feel that it represents when you feel disconnected with your mind or your thoughts, or sometimes your actions and your thoughts may not be synchronized. They may not be the same. It almost can be, and that's what I feel with Tamar. I feel like Tamar is a little bit of um I feel that that's what she represents. I think the way that she comes off as a person, like this big personality, this in your face person, this very blunt person, I don't think it really is who she is on the inside. I think that on the inside, she's almost like a little vulnerable girl, still, that is like trying to experience love, trying to experience acceptance from her family. I think that she is desperately wanting love from her family, that especially her sisters, that isn't really, it's not coming through the way she wants it to. And I think that her behavior towards them, which even though sadly enough seems to create distance between them, um I think that she does certain things, it's not out of malice. I think that she actually does certain things out of love, but it just doesn't, it doesn't show up the way she wants it to. It doesn't come through the way, the intention that she has is not what other people perceive it as. And I think she doesn't understand that the way she's handling certain things isn't in the correct way. It's not going to get her the results that she wants. And so it's almost like I think that she's a bit stuck in that way of, again, not receiving what she wants because she doesn't handle things in the right way. And I think that that speaks volumes for not only her relationship with her sisters, but also her issues in her career as well, and being, fired from the real and all this other stuff. I think that that's a general theme in her life when it comes to her relationships with others, and that's definitely something she has to work on a lot in order to build better relationships with people. And I think it does take maturity to do that. It takes maturity to see where you need to improve yourself as a human being, especially when you get to a certain age. When you've noticed that there's certain patterns in your life that keep on repeating itself, especially when it comes to issues with other people, you have to reach a point where you can really reflect and say, okay, what is it that I'm doing that is causing this issue? And I kind of feel that that's where she needs to be. I don't think she's reached the point of really coming to acceptance of these things, or of the parts that she plays in damaging her relationships or causing problems in her relationships. But she needs to reach that point in order to really grow and evolve as a person. But again, I kind of feel that the reason why she maybe struggles with certain issues connected with maturity is the fact that I feel like there's an inner child within herself that is really needy and is not getting what she needs at this time. And I think that also has to do with um her being quite materialistic as well. Like even in the episode that I was talking about, she made like two references in saying, oh, I have a whole bunch of stuff, I have a lot of material things, and thanking God for that. And then she later on says, just randomly out of the blue, after she has this argument with her sister, she was like, oh, I'm gonna go to my $50 million mansion. And it was a bit weird for her to say that because it's like it was just out of the blue. But I think a lot of that sense of materialism, and I think a lot of her arrogance stems from insecurity. Actually, I think that sometimes when people are very quick to talk about what they have, it's because within themselves they don't feel good about who they are. So it's almost like their way of identifying or feeling like a person or feeling worthy comes from material things that they've gained for themselves versus the attributes that they have to offer as a person, you know. um So that's kind of what I get with that maturity card. The silence card, I feel like is saying that's that silence and maturity coming together would help her a lot. Sometimes you have to silence your mind in order to really understand and perceive what is happening around you. People sometimes that are very talkative and they get in, they're around a group of people and they're just more concerned with what they have to say versus really listening and taking what other people say on board, usually find it really difficult to mature and evolve and grow. And I think that's another issue that she has also. I think the silence card is about going within yourself and again finding meaning, deeper meaning and deeper purpose in your life than just things that are shallow or superficial. Um, I feel like her place of healing will come from her really seeing why she's experiencing these losses in her life. I always feel that you guys know I've said this a billion and one times, and you're probably sick and tired of hearing me say it if you've watched like my videos on a regular basis. But I always believe that there's a lesson to be learned in every experience in life, and I feel that especially when you're going through the same experiences again and again and again, it's almost like the universe's way of telling you you need to pay attention to this, or God, whoever you believe in, is telling you you need to pay attention to this, almost like a warning sign in your life. And I think her warning sign is that when things get taken away, it's to strip you down to the bare minimum so that you can really reflect on what it is that you have in your life, where you are in your life, and also why is it that you want the things that you want. Are your intentions sincere? Are you trying to do certain things because you think they're going to give you happiness? Is there, do you have to look for happiness elsewhere? Why is it that you can't experience happiness in your current situation in your life as it is right now, as it stands? So I think that she has a lot that she needs to reflect on, or should be reflecting on, in order to help her through this difficult time that she's experiencing. I think friendliness and connection is definitely what she's wanting, what she's seeking. I think that a lot of support and help can come her way, from people that she actually does kind of get on with. um so it is showing that not everyone is entirely against her. It is showing that she does have people around her that can support her emotionally and that can be there for her at this time of need and stuff like that, which is really nice. The only issue is that I feel like she kind of feels that the people that she would really want to be there are not kind of being there with the dream card. I think that there's connections that she wishes were much better than they were. I also get the feeling that this also could apply to Vince, because looking at this card, it looks more to do with a relationship, like a romantic relationship. And so I kind of get the impression that maybe she feels that Vince isn't quite the support system that she is like really hoping that he would be. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think he's maybe not being as there for her out of malice or anything like that, or like, I don't think it's a personal thing, but I think sometimes people go through grief or certain situations differently. They handle them in different ways, and I think that she's reaching out for a lot more emotional support from him, and maybe he is having to learn like how to do that, how to kind of be the support that she needs at this time. But I think that this card, the dream, shows that she really is fantasizing a lot about this life that she wishes that she had. And I see a lot of dissatisfaction in how her life currently is right now that she feels. And so, yeah, that is a difficult situation to be in. And I think that she is really desperately hoping for change. But it's kind of showing that change right now is not happening right at this moment. Like, she's still in the process of needing to reflect on a lot of things first before change can really come into her life. So I'll see what they say in terms of her having this other child. Will it happen for her this year? Like, will the IVF be successful, and will she get pregnant this year? Let's kind of see what the cards have to say. It says lovers. Oh, so that's a nice one, I think, for a baby. Lovers, completion showed up, and ordinariness. Right. Yeah. Oh. Looking at them all together is, yeah, I think she's looking for completion in her life. She's looking for a greater sense of love. And do you know what I actually think about Tamar when I look at these two cards together? Is that I think that the lack of love that she kind of feels from her sisters, which her being a very family orientated person, I feel like that really hurts her, that they can't get on better. And I almost feel like that's why she wants a bigger family. She wants, even though she has Logan, she wants a bigger family so that she can almost experience the love from her children that she hasn't experienced so much of from her sisters. So it's almost like she wants to create her own family unit because of the fact that the initial family unit that she's from, she feels like an outsider from those people, and she really just wants that love and that connection and that bond. And I think in losing her child, emotionally, it came as such a blow, because again, that's what she's searching for, that love, that deep compassion. And I can definitely understand that, because that happens very often. Like, sometimes that's why in some cases some people have kids sometimes at very young ages, because maybe they feel like they didn't receive that love from maybe a parent or people around them, and they just want someone or something to love them. And a child is like a natural way of having someone love you, because they're dependent on you, you're their mom, they have a bond with you. It's a different kind of relationship, a mother with a child, than any other relationship. And so I kind of get that that's what she's searching for, a completion from a family and a child and stuff. And I think she experiences that with Logan, but she wants even more of that around her. So she wants to have even more children to sort of bring into this world. And I think she wants the ordinary life. She wants, the house, the kids, the kids playing in the back garden and all that kind of stuff. I think even though, like I was saying, like she can sometimes focus on materialistic things, I think a part of her really is looking for a more simple life, where like maybe almost being like a stay-at-home mom and all that kind of stuff, maybe even giving up her career eventually, and just focusing on children and family and all that stuff. And she kind of gives some mention to that in the show, but I think her reading is actually showing that I think that's really what her overall goal truly is. And I think that's why it's so painful for her that she hasn't been able to experience this yet. And especially being that this card is an eight. Eight is what you try to manifest for yourself. And so I think that that's the life that she really is wanting. And it's almost like her strength or her power will come from achieving that situation. But right now, it just hasn't happened as yet. But um to be honest, um her cards aren't really saying if she would actually have a child this year, I feel like. But it's saying that it's gonna happen. So I would lean more towards saying that yes, she probably is going to have a successful pregnancy soon. Even if the baby isn't gonna be, well, I don't think the baby will be born this year, but I think that she is gonna have a successful conception this year or soon, because it kind of is feeling like this life is gonna happen for her. She is gonna get this sense of completion she's seeking, but it's just it does take time. But landing on an eight card, again, eight is quite powerful, so it's kind of saying that the more effort she puts in is the more she's going to get out of the situation. So as if she stays very steadfast and very focused on it, then it will definitely happen for her. So yes, that's Tamar's reading. If you guys do want me to do readings on like other celebrities and stuff, like do let me know. I know I've said this in the past, and then sometimes I haven't like got it done and stuff, but this time I kind of have no excuse because I've literally am gonna be staying at home quite a lot these days because literally like baby could be coming at any point at this time, so I'm kind of staying closer to home, so I'm not as occupied with outside stuff like I was. So I have a bit more time to focus on like other things like videos and things. If you guys have any suggestions, so let me know. Peace and many blessings to you. I'll be seeing you. Bye.